all. In this video, let us concentrate on 8051 serial port programming. We know there are two pins in 8051 that are meant for serial communication. Those are TXD, whenever microcontroller is acting as a transmitter, that is sending serial data, and RxD, whenever microcontroller is acting as a receiver, that is while receiving serial data. First of all, why do we need a serial communication when we have its faster version, that is a parallel communication? Serial communication is most efficient way of communication whenever we are concerned about the longer distance communication and we are not ready to lose or lose the data, correct? So in that cases we basically prefer the serial communication. Now in microcontroller 8051 we know there are two pins for transmitting data and receiving data. Whenever I talk about a serial communication, there are four terms that becomes important to us. That is baud rate, which we keep on frequently using. So it is our duty and it is fundamental requirement before we start the serial port programming. We need to know what do we mean by a baud rate. We also need to derive the relationship between a baud and the crystal frequency. A small formula we need to understand. Now there are four different baud rates, standard baud rates that are widely used. These are frequently used and but they are not the limitation. You can use other baud rates also, but these are very widely frequently used kind of a baud rate. Next we will be seeing the block diagram representation of serial port and baud rate relationship. Now first of all, let us understand what do we mean by a baud rate. Baud rate means that is a standard followed in all computer systems. Okay. Some of the standard that the baud rate followed are, standard bauds followed are 9600, 4800 baud, 2400, 1200, etc. There are different bauds that are followed in the microcontroller. We can implement this baud using the timer counter register. Especially majority of the time we will be employing a timer 1 register for implementation. Baud represent the number of bits transmitted from transmitter to receiver in a second. Baud means number of bits transmitted from transmitter to receiver in 1 second of time. Now whenever I say baud of 9600, 9600 bits are transmitted over a serial communication path in 1 second, correct? This is the meaning of baud. Now let us see quickly what is the relationship between baud and the crystal frequency. We know in 8051 the crystal frequency is 11.0592 megahertz. So crystal frequency we represent it as xTOL. So crystal frequency is 11.0592 megahertz. This is for 8051. Now in the market we have different microcontroller using different frequencies. Since we are concentrating on 8051 serial communication, I will consider the connected baud. Now if I want to calculate the mission cycle frequency, so I will basically do xTOL divided by 12, 11.0592 divided by 12. So I will be getting something like 921.6 kilohertz. This is the mission cycles. Now 8051 I am implementing using a serial communication. So we will have to, in a serial communication protocol, some mission cycle has to be divided by 32. It has to be divided by 32 as per UART standards. It has to be divided by 32 as per UART standards. So I am doing that here. So 9 to 1.6 kilohertz divided by 32, I will be having 28,800 hertz. Correct? Now whichever mode you will choose, whichever timer you will choose, that will be setting the delay for the generation of this particular frequency. From this I can calculate time, right? And I can calculate the preset. So how we have done for timer, the preset calculations can be done. So this is the relationship between a crystal frequency and a baud rate. As I told you, there are different baud rates, standard baud rates, correct? So let us assume the first baud rate, that is 9600. So this I will call it as baud. Okay, so we will have to make a calculation.